The subject matter of the story you're about to hear will be seen as disturbing to some of you. If any of you are sensitive to this material and are ever feeling uncomfortable, please feel free to click off at any time. I completely understand. I will not be bringing up any specific names relating to the story in this video for any reason. I do not want to cause any further pain to the family of the victim, and I don't want the perpetrator to receive any harassment, threats, or anything of the sort. I don't condone such behavior in any way, and I will report anyone in the comments who tries to encourage it. What's happening, commentators? My name is Leuname, and this is a video that I originally did not plan on making. I didn't know about this story until last Monday as I'm recording this, but after I saw this story, I felt like I had to make this video because what happened in this story is so freaking disgusting. It is one of the lowest forms I have ever seen a person sink to in a Hail Mary attempt just to try to fill their pockets. Some of you may have heard about this by now, but for those of you who haven't, Insider put out an article a week ago where the headline pretty much says all you need to know. A YouTuber charged viewers to see autopsy photos of a 11-year-old boy, an act the prosecutor called disgusting. Now, I'm not going to read the entire article out to you all. If you want to find it, I'll put a link in the description below. Keep in mind, this does show the real names of the perpetrators and the victim, and I cannot stress this enough. Do not go and harass anybody I talk about in this. Anyways, like I said, I'm not going to go over the entire thing, but there are a few things that I want to bring up because I have some things I want to say. So the person obtained the photos of the autopsy via a public records request and posted a video about them to their Patreon account where people could pay $3 to watch. First of all, how morally bankrupt do you have to be as a human to not only post autopsy photos of an 11-year-old kid onto the internet where it can be seen forever, which is bad enough in itself, but to put the photos behind a paywall? And second of all, why did they even let this person have the autopsy photos in the first place? Am I the only one who thinks that it's a bit odd that anyone can get access to these photos just by requesting them? Am I the only one who thinks that a victim's autopsy should only be available to the family and those involved with the case, and not just readily available to anyone to get by request? Am I crazy for thinking that such sensitive material should only be allowed to be seen by those involved? I'm legitimately asking here. The father spoke with News Nation saying knowing the photos were being viewed this way was re-traumatizing. I cannot imagine the amount of pain that is going through this father right now. If this was my son, the last thing I could possibly want is to have his autopsy photos posted onto the internet. Of course something like this would be re-traumatizing. The person issued a statement on her YouTube channel where she has 89,000 subscribers. Not anymore. She said people have been very divided on how they feel about the video, and she was hearing a lot from both sides. It is alarming to me that there is anybody even attempting to defend her at this point, because what she has done is completely in the wrong. There is no way something like this could be explained or justified, especially because in the statement she said that she was not adamantly against taking down the video if people were truly unhappy with it. Meaning if she did not get the backlash that she did, she probably would have left the video up on Patreon for people to pay to see. Since then, her whole Patreon account has been removed, and it was discovered that it was Patreon themselves who stepped in and removed the account. She said she was charging the fee because she, quote, spent a lot of time and worked hard, unquote, putting the video together. That was your excuse to put a kid's autopsy in a video behind a paywall because you worked hard. That is one of the shittiest excuses I have ever heard. I worked hard to put this video together that featured a kid's autopsy photo. Give me money, please. Now that's everything I wanted to cover in terms of the article, but she did also put out a video titled "My Apology to the Family and Everyone I Hurt." And as you can see, that didn't do very well. And for pretty good reason, as you'll soon see. Before we get into that though, I want to apologize in advance if the audio quality for these clips is a bit crap. I'm actually using some clips that I borrowed from a news channel called Tipster. Tipster is more of a laid-back style news show, and he did a video covering this scenario, and that's where I got all these clips from. If you want to go check him out, if you're interested in more of a laid-back style news, then definitely check him out. He's actually pretty good. I'll make sure to link his channel and the video he did down below. Now, just like with the article, I'm not going to go over the entire response video because that would take too long, but there is a few key points that I want to talk about within the response. Spoiler alert, she'll try to make excuses later on.
There are many trying to define my motivations, and while I'm not looking for forgiveness or trying to make excuses, I do hope to provide additional context that has not been made clear.
You want to provide additional context that has not been made clear. What context could you possibly provide that could make anything clearer than you used a kid's autopsy to make money? What context could you possibly provide that could explain why you used a kid's autopsy?
I made no request for autopsy photos. I wanted all trial records, but my main interests were with Letitia. The autopsy photos just happened to be in the files.
So you just wanted the trial records and the autopsy photos just happened to show up with the records. But if you just tried to get the trial records, that means you didn't have to include the photos in the video whatsoever. You could have just left the photos out completely and just included records of the trial. You had every opportunity to not include the photos in the video, and you still chose to include them. That just shows that you wanted to use the photos that you got.
I spent time reviewing what I received so I could provide more info from the trial. I believe many of my images were already shown during the televised trial, and I saw the photos on other public YouTube channels that live streamed the trial.
And this was the excuses part that I was mentioning earlier. She used one of the oldest excuses in the book when you're caught doing something wrong. Oh, other people were using the photos of this kid, so I could do it. So you knew other people were doing this, and you couldn't look at that and think, there's people are doing something that may seem a little bit concerning. Maybe I shouldn't use the photos of a kid's autopsy. That might upset the family. Maybe I shouldn't use it. This is hypothetically an example of just hopping on the trend, trying to get attention.
I chose to put the video on Patreon because of the sensitive nature of the evidence. Putting the evidence behind a paywall meant added security.
Added security. And also help to accomplish your bottom line, which was to make money. Because the fact that you put it behind a paywall means that you meant to make money off of the autopsy of someone else's kid.
I realized my intentions were not communicated well. My channel style was sort of me hanging out with friends and speaking off the cuff, and I did not articulate my reasons or think my decision through.
No shit, you didn't think it through.
I am not sharing any of the photos or video anywhere, although you can see the photos published on other popular channels.
There goes that excuse again.
Family, I have no words that can make this better. No one should have to ever go through what you guys have been through. I'm so very sorry.
That's everything that I wanted to cover about her response. And to be honest, as crap as that response was, she does at the end of the day seem at least a little bit remorseful about what she's done, and she does seem to regret what she did. Whether or not the apology was sincere or not, I guess that's up for you guys to decide. I personally have a hard time finding it sincere because of how many excuses and the lengths she went to try to justify what she did. But as crap as these responses were, there was another person who also made a video on Patreon using this kid's autopsy photos. And somehow, her responses to this entire controversy were somehow worse than the first person we talked about. This woman, like I said in the intro, I will not name, had 4 responses to this controversy. 2 text and 2 in video. And I haven't even listened to the second video because honestly the first video almost broke me. She first left this long response in text form. I'm not even gonna bother reading this out to you because I've read this whole thing already. It is a bullshit response. It was just her doubling down for the entire thing and effectively saying that she doesn't even care about what she's done. I'll put it up on screen so you can see it and you can pause the video if you want to read it out. And she proves even further that she does not care in her second text response, where not only does she not apologize for what she's done, doesn't even seem to realize what she did was wrong. She announces that she is going to do a part 2 on Patreon and charging $3 to see it. She is charging $3 at least to see a kid's autopsy again. And if that's not enough to prove how much of a heartless human this is, listen to this clip. This is one of the first things she says in her first response video.
With zero tolerance for stupidity, and anybody is welcome as long as you're respectful. If you're not, you're gonna be gone.
I really feel like I don't need to say anymore. In fact, if I try to go any further, I'm going to end up raging. So that's going to be everything for this video. Like I said earlier, if you want more information about the controversy, go check out Tipster's video. Link will be in the description. I hope you managed to somehow find some enjoyment out of this. If you did, give it a big thumbs up. Thank you all as always so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.